All right, welcome to this week's edition of Attack the Track. We are at Daytona here in the next gen. As you can see, the track temp is 129 degrees, so it's pretty hot. Ambient 78 with a track state usage of 33%, so that should match up pretty well with what we expect qualifying to be track state usage. Not going to go over how to run the normal on here because it's Daytona, so this is really just a qualifying video. And since the telemetry is just 100% all the way around the track, I've gone ahead and recorded this because everything hinges on like certain very minute details, and I want to make sure I get those right instead of messing up talking while driving. So I have run the laps, but I'm going to go over how I did each one. But you can see up here, setup is identical to Daytona Oval. Just go into the garage and show you. So for this one, we're already at the top steering pinion, which means you're going to have to turn it more to turn it, but that gives you the smoothest line, which is what you want for qualifying. Steering offset is at +6. That will be off-centered to the right a little bit on the straightaway. So if you want it dead straight, you're going to need to go a couple of degrees negative. I leave it this way, especially during qualifying for a particular reason. I'll get into that during the run. But anyway, so nothing has been updated or changed, and so we will go into the laps. I ran them 4 different ways. The very first is your second lap is going to be faster. I would go over how fast you're going to be coming at the line, but it is so dependent on track temp. I did these same 4 runs earlier at 118 degree track temp, and everything was much closer, and so and you were going a mile an hour faster. So it's all just going to depend on how hot the track is at the time. But anyway, the second lap here, I just did the hug on the bottom. As you can see, I hug the bottom all the way around the track. And most importantly, coming up here at the end, I stay above the yellow line in the tri-oval. And this is the slowest method. As you can see, I got a 50.096. 50.080, I did the exact same thing. Well, let's just look and see something real quick. So at the line, I'm going 178. At the line, I'm going 178. So same speed. The only thing I did different on this lap, as you'll see, is I cut the apron. And you can see where I cut it here. And so it got us from an 096 to an 080. So what did I do different for these two? Well, I will show you. So first off, I'm still going 178 mile an hour as I come to the line. So you don't gain any speed coming out there. But what we're going to do is, instead of hugging the bottom the entire way, we're going to track out. So I will show you one more thing. So when you're running the high line, just doing your first lap, you don't want to be all the way against the wall. There is an arrow thing that will drag you back, so you want to keep your lefts on this seam as you go around the high line. And for all the runs, actually, even when I'm running the bottom, what I do is, as I'm coming up to this gap right here in the seam, I try to have my rights go in that gap. That kind of sets you up on a good trajectory to hit the line here. So my rights are going through there, probably hit right at the edge, but instead of staying on the bottom, I track out until my lefts are on this line, and then I'm pointed. It gives you a better entry right here. And so if you're looking at the comparing against your best lap, it will be a little bit slower every time you track out, but you gain it in momentum. So see, I just tracked out. I'm running the high line here above the seam, but I'm already sort of pointed at the middle of the lane right here. And when I get there, I'm not really turning the wheel to the left. What's going to end up happening is the banking transition is going to turn the wheel for you and allow you to just hit that right. But I do want to back up for a second here because this is sort of important. When you track out, the reason that I left my wheel where it was instead of moving it to the left is I feel like it gives me a little bit better notice a little bit earlier of when the wheel wants to unwind to the right. So as you're going to be coming out of the turn, the wheel is going to be wanting to turn back to the right to straighten out, and the longer you fight that, the more speed you're going to scrub. And I feel like it allows me to do that a little bit earlier. And so you don't want to hug the bottom all the way through the turn and then go out, and you also don't want to unwind like way too early and be out here because you're just going to be losing time. So this is the most important part of the qualifying run, is your exit out of 2, getting this right so that you get that momentum going all the way down the backstretch. So again, we're just going down the backstretch here, but I am pointed at 3 here. And I'm not really turning the wheel, I'm allowing the banking to turn the wheel for me. And you're going to do the exact same thing on exit. You'll let it unwind. But you'll notice we didn't track all the way out. And the reason we didn't track all the way out to our lefts being out here, and it's more our rights. Are our rights even on it? No, so see, that's about how far out we tracked. I may go a little bit farther out than this as it goes on. But the reason you don't track all the way out is because on coming out of 2, you lose time tracking out, but you gain that momentum all the way down the backstretch. Well, here the start-finish line is in the tri-oval, so you don't have an entire backstretch to gain that time back, so you don't track all the way out. So if you scrub speed holding it on the bottom, and you lose speed that you never get that momentum back, and so it's kind of a balancing act of exactly how far you want to track out. But I just kind of split it here, going here, and then I cut the apron again. And you'll notice it's a 079, so just barely faster than hugging it around the bottom and cutting the apron. So you're like, why would I do that? And you'll see. Now here's the fast lap, and you'll notice I am going 178 coming to the line yet again. So I didn't do anything there, and to gain speed. So I'll show you this run or this line real quick. Again, well, hold on, just to show you again coming down to that seam. So I'll let this entire lap run and see if you can tell the difference in it from this and the other lap. So track down into 1, gonna unwind coming out of 2 as soon as I feel the wheel really wanting to go that way. Have my lefts right above that seam. Gonna be pointing at 3 here. Just gonna let the car and the momentum take me into 3. You really gain your time right there. We're gonna come track out of 4, but we're not gonna track all the way out. My rights came up, so I did come up just a little bit higher than last time. We cut it, and we're at an 060. Not that much different, really. Although I did come out of 4 a little bit higher here. I did track out farther. Put my rights on that seam. That's not where I gained the 0.02 of a second. To do that, to see where I gained, you've got to back all the way up. All the way up. This is me on the 079 coming out. It's actually the lap before, but you get what I'm saying. So you're coming out of the pits. This is what everybody does. They just go as fast as they can coming out to try to gain as much momentum as they possibly can. And you're going to think, oh, he's shifting at a different point or something like that, but it's much simpler than that. So just just trust me, the shifting doesn't matter. So we're going to go to the fast lap here, but I'm going to back up because this is where I'm coming out of the pits for the other run. So you'll see as I come out here. See, do you notice it yet? Coming out much slower, much slower. I'm making sure to not spin the tires at all. And with the track temp being as hot as it was, you're actually burning off rubber when you come off or out of the pits as fast as you can, and you're trying to build that momentum. You're burning rubber on a hot track, and just that very little bit of rubber that gets burned coming out of the pits gets you a little bit less speed in the corners. And so when you come out slow like that and you keep all your rubber, you still have plenty of time to build your momentum to be going 178 or whatever it is. Earlier I was getting up to 180 with a lower track temp, but it should be equal to the others in a session. So you still get to your top speed in plenty of time, but yet you have just a little bit more rubber as you're going through the turns, and that rubber equates to about 200ths of a second. So that is the trick to qualifying here on the second lap, is don't come out of the pits too fast. It'll save you a little bit of rubber, which saves you time. And that is how you're going to qualify up front. But anyway, yeah, that is how I attack the track here at Daytona in the next gen. Good luck.